All right, ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel. This week we are live streaming again, and I've got to say, the UK government just never ceases to amaze me. I know a lot of you live outside the UK and you watch this channel. I don't know if it's for entertainment, for education, whatever, but it's so crazy and wild every single day. We've got something new that happens. It's as if they're trying to outcompete one another to see who can do the most extreme things in the government. Now, I mean, this is pretty unbelievable what we're going to talk about today, how they're emptying out the prisons of the criminals in order to fill them up with people making hate Facebook posts and everything else. It's the craziest thing. And now we've got a new terror law. Wait until you see what this new terror law is for. And I think you're going to say, oh my, we're in big trouble. This is a terror law we're going to talk about, as well as a few other things. It is unbelievable what's going on. Let's get straight into the first article today. Now, to give you a bit of context actually here, do you remember this last week? This was Reagan. This was at the Olympics. If you haven't seen it, you've got to watch the performance. And I've got to explain this because it will give context to what's just been announced as a new terror law. Yes. So this was it. It's quite funny. She's a professor of something. I'll tell you in a second. So she does this performance, even though she said she's not really, like a professional break dancer, but she wanted to come and give it a go at the Olympic Games. Oh, I've got to show you this because it's going to give some context in a second. Right. So now, of course, it created all these memes around the world. And this is what it should have looked like. Okay, so this was another one at the Olympics. Okay, so this was a professional break dancer representing the country, etc. Okay, so you can see it is possible to do something quite impressive, right? So we have that. And now, of course, we've got people that said, I can do that, and they're replicating it at home. The entire dance, it's quite funny to watch. Right, so here's your context. And of course, now there's all these videos. This one's got 1 million views.
Anyway, yes, sprinkler, Tuesday night at the local pub, and Big Red Boomer, that's my favourite. Here's a Queensland cane toe.
Right, so this is what has now happened, okay? Everyone is coming out and saying if you criticize guns, so there's all these people now that have made all these posts on social media and videos, including Aussie Man. That's why he had to make an apology, which is kind of like, it was also a joke, but he had to make an apology because all of these announcements came out and said that if you make fun of her and you are male, this is misogyny. And this is not a joke. This is absolutely legit. What all these articles say the same thing. Misogyny. So all these men are now getting all these, I don't exactly know, they're getting some sort of notifications to about this. 36-year-old university lecturer, they're saying this was misogyny. It goes on and on and on, all this stuff. Where's the, okay. Oh yeah, she has a PhD in cultural studies, conceded she lacked the athletic capacity. And there's all this stuff like, how did she actually get there to the Olympics? No one quite knows. There's a lot of interesting theories. And then there was this was the Olympic chief.
The fact that, yes, Rachel didn't get a point yesterday, but she was there.
Okay, when she says she didn't get a point, that means she scored 0 points at the Olympic Games. In all 3 rounds, she scored 0 points.
Doing her best. It takes great courage to walk out into any sporting environment and try.
Okay, that's not the point of the Olympic Games though, sorry. Otherwise, everyone will just be going out there and having a go. Can you imagine? What could I go out there and do? Maybe wrestling. Yeah, look how slim I am. I could go out there and I could do sumo wrestling. I could give it a try. It's like, yeah, okay. So this is what this is what's now being said. This new, here it is. This is now to be treated, this has happened the same week by the UK government. This is now to be treated as extremism on the same par as terrorist activities. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. This is legit. So this is what I looked it up to see what exactly does the Britannica say about it. It says, hatred or prejudice against women typically exhibited by men. It is generally accepted, right? Whenever you see generally accepted, they've just made that up, that this is a consequence of the male-dominated patriarchy. I'm sure Jordan Peterson already debated this for years and years with lots of people, but it seems to be back again. So this is what we've got there. This is going to be treated as a form of extremism under new government plans, the Home Office has said. Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, has ordered a review of the UK's counter-extremism strategy to determine how best to tackle threats posed by harmful ideologies. The analysis will look at hatred of women as one of the ideological trends that the government says is gaining traction. See, I don't believe this. First of all, can you drop a comment in below if you? I just don't believe this is true. They are saying, they're coming up with all this stuff that they're saying that hatred towards women, especially online, so it's all about the online aspect of the moment, by men. They're saying that this is growing and it's growing exponentially. They love that word, exponentially. I'm just not seeing that at all. If anything, I'm seeing the opposite. I'm seeing women getting more respect in society in general. Why would you not show respect regardless if you're male, female, religion, skin color, whatever? You just show respect to everyone, the respect that each is due, right? We all respect each other. So this whole thing now that they're saying, oh, there's all these men, there's this growing thing of men who keep attacking women, and now look, here's proof of it. This lady, she went out there and she tried her best at the Olympics. Yeah, look, she's a university lecturer, but she tried and everyone made fun of her. Of course they're going to make fun of the performance. I mean, they're linking these two things together and they're coming up with a new terror law. It's crazy. If you don't see the absurdity and the craziness in what I'm saying here, that says you might be part of that group that has sort of lost their minds at the moment. The people who think this is actually normal. She says there's a rise in extremism, and this is what they want to do. They want to get all this online, all these new restrictions online, and our new streets that phrase the very fabric of our communities. Look at the language that they're using. Phrase the very fabric of our communities and our democracy. Sort of egging it a little bit here. The review will look at the rise of Islamist and far-right extremism in the UK, as well as what they're saying, as well as wider ideological trends, including extreme misogyny or beliefs which fit into broader categories such as violence. It would also look at the causes and conduct. I thought this was quite funny. I wonder what the causes and conduct could be of the radicalization of young people. I just cannot imagine. They obviously need to do a study to figure this out because they can't see the most obvious things possible. It's also going to identify any gaps in existing policy. You know what that means? It means more control measures which need to be addressed to crack down on those pushing harmful and hateful beliefs and violence, she said. This is also heavily online. This work will inform a new counter-extremism strategy, which was promised in Labour's manifesto and which the Home Office says will respond to growing and changing patterns of extremism across the UK. Critics might argue that some reviews are a proxy for actual action, but Labour has pointed out there's been no new extremism strategy since 2015. That's not exactly a long time, 2015. Some of our laws go back hundreds of years. And that an assessment of new and emerging threats is overdue. Of course it is. Of course it's overdue. Now then, what do we get into? Remember we talked about this a while back. England and Wales judges told not to jail criminals as the prisons are full. I mean, what do? You send them away. You give them a caution or something. Senior judges quoted by the Times says the biggest concern over guidance is those convicted of assault likely to stay on bail. Can't use keywords on YouTube. I was looking at some of the pictures of these judges and I thought they're quite interesting. Okay. Anyway, moving on swiftly. Judges have been told to delay the sentencing. I probably shouldn't have done that. They're probably going to use that against me one day. I'll probably have this guy here as my judge or something. Sentences of convicted criminals currently on bail, including these people and burglars, because prisons are full. Earlier this year, in a Court of Appeal case, They said that for offences that attracted shorter terms, judges and magistrates should consider imposing suspended sentences given current prison population levels. Yeah, will they ever go to prison if they have a suspended sentence? If there's not going to be any more places? We'll see. They were said to have added that the biggest concern was defendants charged with historical this or this and other types of assault, as even if convicted, they're now likely to remain on bail. How on earth can a country operate like that, you may ask? So what have they done? They've launched this new, what's it called? Operation Early Dawn. Now that is a really weird name. Operation Early Dawn. I wonder if there's something subliminal to that. To ease prison overcrowding activated in the UK amid, what's the reason? Why have these emergency measures come in? Because of the sentencing of far-right rioters. That is why this has all come about. So you've got all these serious criminals. Let's just talk about this for a second. You've got all these serious criminals, which I just showed you there in black and white. That wasn't me. I love showing you mainstream media articles, because that way I can't be accused of, oh, this guy's whatever people will say about me, because I'm actually showing the mainstream media, which most people unfortunately watch and believe. So you see what those criminals, those worst sort of criminals have done and what they've been sentenced for. And yet they're releasing prisoners early so they can convict people like, let's use an example here, shall we? People like online offences. Now, I'm not defending any of these people, just to be clear, but I do find it ironic that you get 3 years in prison, to 21 months in jail, 15 months in prison for Facebook posts now, 20 months in prison, 3 years, 2 months in prison, 3 months in prison, sending a false communication within, this is all online. You can see here, these are all online crimes. You can get, see, I've never seen this before where they make an interactive page so you can go and look. This was the guy that looted the Lush store, you know, the bath bombs. He grabbed a load of bath bombs. He also did other stuff, by the way, but I think he attacked a car or something like that. But I just thought it was interesting that he was all over the news straight away. They classed him as a 25-year-old white male. I thought that was ironic. They love saying that. White male, 4 years and 8 months in prison. And yet some of these other people commit all these serious stuff. They're out quite quickly. So this was what they're saying. The British government has activated emergency measures to ease prison overcrowding in England as more far-right rioters are set to be jailed for their role in the recent violent disorder. Over 1,000 people have been arrested and hundreds more have been charged in connection with the riots that broke out across the UK. That was based on the July 29th incident. Emergency measures activated to tackle prison overcrowding. So this lady is, she's a Secretary of State for Justice. I was watching the video of her walking around. Sorry, but I just thought it was really funny. Like, what's this? What's that? Oh, that's a prison cell. This is the cell. Oh gosh, sometimes certain politicians, they get put into the wrong roles. Emergency measures have been activated by the MOJ to ease prison overcrowding as more rioters are being sentenced. Shabana Mahmood, the Justice Secretary, has ordered that defendants waiting across the north of England for a court appearance will be kept in police cells until prison space is available. To be fair, they don't some of these that are 18-year-olds that were just present at the protest who didn't do anything don't really need to be kept in prison cells. That it's just setting an example for everyone else. But this was activated this morning, Monday morning today. As of Friday, more than 300 people have been remanded into custody for these violent disorders, with 460 arrests. Many more are going to be. But here's the thing I thought was interesting. So sometimes you have crimes that take place, serious crimes, and the police say no evidence. You might have CCTV. There's all sorts of evidence, but they say, sorry, there's no evidence, or there's not enough funding, not enough officers. But yet they're going to They were talking, this could take years, they said. They are not going to give up. They're going to keep going as long as it takes until they bring everyone to justice. So does that make any sense? Why is it that for these protests and riots that took place, this is going to go on for years to convict everyone there? But then there's other things that take place and they haven't got the resources. It's very weird and very biased. He said, this is the result of the rioters. Last week, we had the biggest influx of new receptions I've seen for quite some time. 397 new receptions on Friday. We only had 340 spaces left in the adult closed male estate, which is feeling the most pressure. He said the move would put pressure on police forces. You're now clogging up police cells, so they haven't got the power to arrest people. So what are they going to do? Just let them off and put them away in a police cell. It has a massive knock-on effect on the entire criminal justice system. Why they don't just build more prisons, I really don't know. They said they haven't got the budget, but yet you can send, it's funny, they've never got the budget for peace, right? Or prisons, or helping the elderly with their energy bills, or people who can't eat, and the food banks, and all the other stuff. They haven't got any money for any of this, but they send tens of billions at what's planned for Ukraine. And now Zelensky's just come out to Starmer and called him all this stuff. I'll see if I can cover that tomorrow, saying that he's not serious, he's not helping, he's not sending enough, he needs to do more. And it's like, we've got a lot of problems of our own over here, thank you very much. It comes ahead of the launch of an early release scheme to tackle overcrowding. From September the 10th, so what's that, 3 weeks' time, thousands of prisoners will start being released 40% of the way through their sentence. Wow, thousands of prisoners are going to be hitting the UK streets from September 10th. I'm glad I'm not there, thank you. It's expected to reduce the number of prisoners by 5,500. That's how many of them are going to be hitting, hitting the streets. Oh, ready for all the far right protesters and rioters. Goodness me. And again, this just goes on and on and on. We've even got an opinion piece on it as well. This is quite interesting if you want to read this. It was by David Spencer. Labour's prisons policies risk criminals going free. It's quite an interesting read. But wow, what a start to the week already. It's only Monday, and we've got all this kicking off already. I don't even know what the rest of the week's going to be like, but there's definitely some war-based stuff that we've got to cover because there's been more advancements there. And my goodness. Oh, thanks for everyone for the sales have now closed now on the stock market course, psychology course. Thank you for that. It's all closed. I know there's about 20 of you still haven't been able to do the checkout, but I'm talking with the payment provider as soon as this stream ends, and I'm going to get that all resolved for you. So that will all be sorted. But apart from that, that is it for now. Thanks for being on the stream. Thanks for all your support as well. Take care. God bless. I'll see you tomorrow.